right, hey, welcome everybody. Chris Otenbaker here with BullsEye. We're doing our Friday the 24th happy half hour. It's very difficult to say. As many times as we've said that over the last 3 weeks, it's actually challenging to say it multiple times. So our happy half hour, but welcome everybody for joining us here today. We have a special guest with us here who you can probably see in the video screen is Mark Nolan. I'll introduce him in a moment. And what we're going to be talking about today, as you can tell from the title screen, is SD-WAN. So what? So we're going to jump in really quick here, and just a couple quick opening points here. You should see in the screen that you have there, on the right-hand flank, there's a little comment section. If you guys have any questions, comments, good jokes you want to send to us, go ahead, plop them in there, and depending on how well I like them, we'll see if they're going to get answered. But I encourage you guys to go ahead and share any questions or comments that you guys might have about today's topics. We do these every Friday. And it's a little break. We try to wrap these things up before a half hour goes by, but it's a quick chance for us to maybe decompress a little bit from these interesting weeks that we've had, and maybe learn a little bit. So grab your lunch next time, tell a friend, and join us here again next week. But we're going to go ahead and just do a quick recap. Last week, if you guys didn't join us, we had a POTS to VoIP happy half hour. I did it perfectly that time. So on that, we talked about a really cool tool that everybody has available to them, which is an analyzer. Every one of our customers has this available. So get in touch with your account manager or your client relationship manager. Every one of our customers has this, and it takes your exact expenses that you have today, and in the old antiquated POTS world, and then it shows what they would be if you were to convert to VoIP. It's going to take your features, it's going to take your usage. It's a really cool tool, and it'll show you all the savings that you're going to get. And there's a couple different flavors too. So I encourage you guys to reach out to your account manager, your client relationship manager, and we'll tell you more about it. So. But with us here this week, we're talking about SD-WAN. We have Mark Nolan. Mark, wave to everybody, say hello.
Hey guys.
All right, so Mark, you've been with BullsEye. When did you start?
February.
February of this year?
Yeah, February, just a couple of months.
That's outstanding. So Mark's a new addition to the BullsEye team here, sales engineer, and based out of the ATL area. Is that right?
That is right, Atlanta.
Cool. Well, hey, just a quick intro to people that are joining us here today. What maybe just give them a little background on you. Don't bore everybody with it, but maybe why you came to BullsEye, and maybe just end on a little fun note before we kick in. Kind of what are you and maybe the family doing to get through these last 6 weeks or so that we've had here with the COVID stuff. So, Mark.
So, hey guys, so I've been in telecom pretty much my whole adult working life, quite a while, 2 or 3 different companies. BullsEye looked interesting because of the people here. Most of these telecom companies are about the same that you guys deal with, but people make all the difference. BullsEye is a little bit different, sometimes a little bit weird, maybe. The people that you interact with, or that I interact with here, are very much themselves. And they're just trying to get some good work done, and they're trying to help people out. It's more of a solutions idea for a lot of these things. It's BullsEye is not always the best fit, and when it's not, we tend to tell people that. But at the same time, we do tend to work our tails off to try to make it, to make a good fit, to make things work. So it's nice, just normal people trying to do some good work and help each other out. Sitting here at home, I'm obviously at home, if you guys can't tell. It's a mess. I'm sitting in my home office. I've worked remotely for years now, in other companies. And it's a little different these days. My daughter's getting ready to go off to school to study astrophysics. So that's, we spend our time kind of trading, theories and research on black holes and stellar formation and all that stuff, which keeps us occupied. But what we really like to do, and we can't do now, is travel. So we're spending a whole lot of time planning out where we're going once this all gets better. And as hopefully most of you guys are doing, it will get better. So we're kind of getting ready for that and anticipating it. So what we'd hope to do, and obviously I'm not a professional presenter. This is as real. The idea was that we'd sit around and act like we were sitting having a cup of coffee together and talk about this stuff. Same sort of thing you might do with a neighbor.
Yeah, I was just going to add that, production quality is our number one priority here. So we're going to make sure that you guys really appreciate this. So, I'm here in my basement, obviously, too here, but, we appreciate all of you joining us here in our home. So we're going to jump into it. I'm going to make Mark our presenter here. And, what we're going to be talking about here is SD-WAN. And, if you guys do it, like I said, if you guys have questions, please feel free to chime in here. And I'm going to go ahead and make Mark the organizer. Just 1 second here. Come on. I know you're waiting. Everybody wants to see you. We did this, by the way, in practice, and it worked flawlessly. And Mark, you are up.
All right, let's see.
So you're sharing your screen.
There we go. Did that work?
Looks good to me.
Okay. All right, I can't see anything. Cool. All right. So hey guys, as we're looking at this stuff, we've all got a lot going on. We're trying to get through the days as best we can, and we're also trying to think a little bit about the future. So one of the things that we sell is SD-WAN, or software-defined networking. I hate PowerPoints and I absolutely hate acronyms. So I'm going to try not to use a whole lot of acronyms. But as we were talking about this stuff, we're like, why bother even messing with this stuff right now? A lot of people have other stuff on their minds. But as we kind of talk through that sort of thing, we realize that, maybe this will help somebody somewhere. There are some real applications here that can help people. So we want to throw out a few ideas.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to jump in really quick here. For those of you that don't know, I just did a quick little research here before we started just to see the growth of SD-WAN. And I saw a chart by a little company called Gartner, and it said that in their forecasting, we'll see what COVID has to do with this, but they're forecasting for 2019 that sales will be about $1.1 billion. And they're forecasting for 2020 $9.3 billion in SD-WAN sales worldwide. So that's outrageous growth for technology. So it's pretty pertinent why we're talking about it. So back to you, Mark.
Cool. So I hope this is working out right and you guys aren't seeing the control panel in just the presentation. What's good about SD-WAN, right? Biggest thing, cheap circuits are everywhere. SD-WAN is so agnostic. It doesn't care what you plug into it. It's a little white box that sits, out wherever your internet circuit is. And you can plug internet circuits from Comcast, from Cox, from Charter, AT&T. You could plug a string in there, if it had internet on it, and the thing would work. It just doesn't care. So really what that lets you do is pick the most cost-effective, the best bandwidth for a given location. Whether that's your house, whether it's the 5 remote sites that you're doing, that spread out all over the country, somewhere out in the middle of Paw Rump, Nevada, outside Death Valley or something, right? Where there's not much out there. The SD-WAN will take it and use it. It really just doesn't care. It lets you get the best fit for you. as opposed to an all or nothing thing from some other large carrier that we used to have to do. So it's awesome in that respect. The second big thing, SD-WAN, these boxes are seriously smart. I mean, all of the stuff that, if you hired this really good router jockey to do for you, right? And you paid them a huge amount of money and they'd sit there on the Cisco routers and do all this neat stuff. It's already built into the SD-WAN box. It already knows how to do this stuff. It's very efficient. Quality of service stuff, for phones, for video, it prioritizes it automatically. Gone are the days when you would haul internet traffic from a remote site back to a core data center and just to get it into a firewall, right? SD-WAN, you don't have to do that stuff. You don't have to waste that backhaul bandwidth. And what that means for you, since it's so smart and so efficient, you can use much smaller circuits than you otherwise would have. And that helps you with the cost, okay? It really is just brilliant. But even saying that, you can do it with other ways. You can do it with Juniper routers. You can do it with Cisco routers. You can do it with Netgear, Palo Alto, all of this stuff, Fortinet, all of this stuff. You can do exactly the same thing, but SD-WAN makes it look like pure magic. I mean, you plug the thing up and the darn thing just works. You don't have to fiddle with everything. For those of us that make a living with this stuff, I guess we like playing with it. But for people that run have a bunch of convenience stores or run a bunch of restaurants or run an office, people like that don't really want to play with this stuff all the time. They just want to plug the thing in, have it work, and get on to making money and doing what they're supposed to be doing, helping people out with what they do. That's what these SD-WAN boxes really bring to the table. It lets you get back to doing what you want to do, not messing with this stuff over here. And it's really awesome. I mean, it's incredibly smart. Redundancy is easy. You can plug more than one internet circuit into these boxes and they'll use them all. And if one goes away, you'll never even know. So, you can plug in cellular, cable, fiber, it all works and it'll all keep working. So it's really, really smart. It's really efficient. It's really pretty neat. It's everything you wanted but couldn't get from other stuff, basically. Why bother now? Really, one of the biggest things for most people that are looking for is cost savings. You guys have probably had these proposals, that come in where it shows the costing out of, you'll save $100 in the next 10 years. Who cares? Really what matters is, are we going to make it through the next year as a, company? We're going to make it through the next 2 years. It would be really great to have some cost savings right away, this month, this quarter type of thing. Typically when you change networks, a lot of those cost savings on the front end get eaten up by, what it costs to deploy the new network, just getting the stuff out there, all the truck rolls to the field, all the visits, all this stuff, it just eats away at all those savings. SD-WAN doesn't. The savings are right now. The circuits are, like I said, cheap. They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. They're simple to install. Stuff goes in under a month with these internet circuits because, you're not building a whole fiber network all over the USA to make this thing run. You're taking what's already there and making really smart use of it. So SD-WAN, as we're doing it, it lets you get going with this stuff right away and see some real money savings. It's just awesome. So that's really what it's about. It's smart boxes using normal stuff that's quick. We deploy a lot of these in under a month. You can get a charter, you can get a cable circuit out there quick, really, really quick, and you can get to using it. Big performance, small budgets. Maybe that's not you. Maybe you're at a huge company and you've got this insane IT budget and people are just throwing money at you and saying spend it or lose it. That's awesome. Most of us aren't. I'm certainly not. BullsEye doesn't, we don't have this huge IT budget, that we go with. We tend to try to make really good performance on a smaller budget. And to do that, you got to have smart people, smart stuff, and it's got to work. It's got to work right the first time. So SD-WAN is going to let you guys, if you use it, do that. It's going to let you do all the things like redundancy, resiliency. It's the never go down idea, right? Where you've got an office, it's got to stay up because all your stuff is in the cloud. All your customer communication is via internet, whether it's voice over IP or it's chat or it's FaceTime. It doesn't matter what it is, it's got to stay up. SD-WAN gives you that guarantee. You plug 3 or 4 different internet circuits into this thing, it just keeps working. It doesn't care what they are, and it'll keep going for you. So you just get to stay online.
I was just going to add, really quick, Mark, for
yeah.
I was just going to add that, I think bandwidth in a way is kind of like dollar bills in your wallet. You can never have enough of it. So when you have, you're talking about big performance on small budgets, and even companies that are out there that have big budgets, everybody's going to want more broadband, whether you're putting security cameras, video footage over the network, or other applications, hiring, training videos, and all sorts of music being delivered or whatever it might be. Everybody just wants more and more bandwidth. So this is a good way to augment existing networks that are out there to add that additional bandwidth. So just throwing that in there as well, Mark.
It is very much so. It just makes it so much easier. When things are easy, you tend to use them. When things are difficult, you tend not to bother with it. And so, the idea here is that SD-WAN is easy yet powerful, and it's for everybody. You don't have to, have a huge budget to be able to take advantage of this stuff. And I know we're kind of running through a little bit of this real quick, but these are just big ideas. I told you guys I hate PowerPoints. I really, really do. Couple of 3 scenarios, ideas, where this might work. We did these because we wanted to give everyone a little bit different way of thinking. The multinational company everybody knows about, right? You could be Coca-Cola, for example, right? Everybody knows who they are. They're everywhere. That's cool for them. A couple of things that you might think about. Scenarios for home office. BullsEye, we started working from home when all this hit, okay? Everybody just went home straight off. Don't come back to the office, go home, go work. Start on Monday. Cool. We're great. We're still doing it. We were already set up for that, so it wasn't really that big of an IT hurdle. But what if you need to do that, but you weren't set up for it? There's a lot of ways you can go about it, right? As long as you've got an office and a cell phone, or a laptop and a cell phone, you can work, okay? But it may not be exactly what you want. So these little SD-WAN boxes from VeloCloud, and that's who we use is VeloCloud as a hardware maker. You could send out a couple hundred of these really fast. Send them out to everybody's house. They plug in their internet pipe. It phones home, configures itself. And now you've got 200 people working at home with Wi-Fi, a firewall, redundancy, maybe there's cell phone, cellular backup to the internet pipe. And they're up and working, and it's secure, and it was easy. That's really what we're talking about here, right? Really easy, really quick, really powerful, and really secure. So it's just an idea. A lot of people now are either in the middle of their work at home strategy, or they band-aided it up till now, and they're trying to figure out, okay, when we go to do this for the rest of the year, we need to have something a little bit better than we're doing right now. It's working, but it would be nice to have it better. This might be better. Next thing, a lot of our favorite places to eat, we can't go to anymore. Either they're closed or they're just open for takeout. Here where I'm at in Atlanta, one of our favorite places is it is literally a mom and pop Greek restaurant. There's only one of them, but they're still open, and they're still cooking, and we're still going. We just have to drop by. They bring it out to us. We head home and eat. Still works. One of the big things for people like that, though, is staying up, staying online. You've still got the person back there cooking. You've still got the person taking orders, still got the person handing out the food, but they've got to stay online. So if you're in that, something just went away. Okay, now it's back. So if you're in that kind of, and it went away again. Okay. I don't know
You just
what's,
click
are you guys still seeing the
on slide
presentation?
5.
Is that better? Is that back?
Yep, you're back.
Okay. My Dell laptop is apparently possessed.
No
So when
worries.
you're one of these people, the big thing is you stay online. The phones stay up, the internet connection stays up because that's got your chat, that's got your text messaging coming in, that's got your Twitter, that's got your Insta coming in. All this stuff comes down the internet pipe. For our little Greek restaurant, they take orders over anything. They don't care. We can text them, we can send a tweet to them, we can post on Insta, and they'll take it. They just don't, they'll do anything to keep people coming back and to have people remember that they're still open. For them, an SD-WAN box would be awesome. You plug a couple of different internet sources into it, maybe a cellular backup, and they're never really going down. So as long as they can stay live, they can keep things moving. We all thought this was going to be just for a couple of weeks. It turned out to be longer. And we're not really sure when things get back to any semblance of normal. So people like our Greek friends, they're making plans for the future and trying to figure out, if we have to keep doing it this way, we've got to make it work. And this is part of making it work. This is part of making things real. Last thing, convenience stores. Convenience stores are like Waffle Houses, right? It's like I don't know what you guys have where you're at, but we have, what is it? Quick Trip and racetracks are seem to be the biggest places, where you pop in. You used to buy gas or whatever it is you buy, and then, pop in and you buy a bottle of water or, something, right? These things are everywhere. And they're always out in these oddball places, they're in the middle of nowhere in a lot of places. And it's one person at work at these things. But these companies have to stay open. And they've got to stay open, they've got to stay up, it's got to stay online. And they've got to do it without now having a lot of IT people or people, technicians come out to fix stuff. So in an ideal situation for these guys right now, and not that you guys own convenience stores, but it's something that everybody understands. The idea that they're working to is we need to stay up, we need to stay online, and as much as possible, we need to be self-healing. So in this scenario, these SD-WAN boxes with their multiple internet circuits that are ubiquitous, they don't care who you get them from, they're relatively inexpensive, and for the price of one expensive fiber circuit, you can get 3 or 4 cheap internet circuits, okay? Chances are good all 4 of those internet circuits are not going down at the same time at this convenience store. One of those suckers, if not more than one, is going to stay up. That's awesome. It's really, really cool. That means that the store's up, they're still selling gas, they're still, well, you're not going in anymore, but at least you're buying stuff through the window. And people are still getting what they need. And it's still going. So that's really the idea behind this thing, is that it's easy, it works, it stays up, it's self-healing, it's very, very powerful, very smart, very efficient, yet still accessible. It's something for everybody. You don't have to be enormous, huge IT budget to take advantage of this stuff. It really is out there. And really, that's why it's growing so much. Has been the last couple of years. That's why everybody's moving to it. But
Yeah,
people think it's for later.
we've got a couple examples really quick as we're getting ready to wrap up here. There was a phone call that one of the technicians or one of our engineers, Clayton, was preparing. He was doing a phone call. He had 3 circuits lit up, or yeah, I think it was 3 circuits lit up. It was a LTE, a cable, and a T1. And he disconnected the 2 wired connections while the call was going. And it took a second or so for the LTE to bounce up, but the IP was still, or the session was still held open, and then he picked up the call again. So pretty cool. We had another example of a customer that Anson has down by you, actually, Mark, down in Atlanta area, and they've got a couple circuits coming into their boxes. The only problem is that they had lightning hit their boxes. But the cool story is that we were able to ship out boxes the very next day and have them back up and running. So, like you mentioned, it's a very self-healing device, and we've got really cool options for quick deployments, global, that is, quick deployments. So if you're in that distributed enterprise, the multi-location, whether it's 5 locations, 500 locations or more, being able to confidently ship that out, with it being able to be plugged in and phone home and pick up the config, it's pretty cool, really cool stuff. So, Mark, did you have anything else that you wanted to wrap up on?
Just in closing, guys, as we move on to this stuff, this presentation has probably been a little bit different than you guys are used to seeing. I tend to personally, when it's too slick and too professional, I tend to tune them out. We wanted you to see who we really are, right? But there's also a thought there that says you can be relaxed, you can be real, but you can still know what you're doing. We really do know what we're doing with this stuff. We are fantastic at it. And we are fantastic at it so that you don't have to be. Okay. You guys are fantastic at whatever it is you do, whether it's you're selling real estate, whether you're running, a services company, you're running a bunch of restaurants, maybe you're an accountant, whatever it is, you guys are good at that. We're good at this. This is what we do. So, give us a shout. Let us know what your issue is. Let us know what your problem you're trying to solve. We'll see if there's a way to fix it for you.
I can't end any better than that. So, Mark, great job. Thank you very much. Thank you, customers, partners that are out there joining us here today. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So, hope everybody has a safe weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. Thank you very much for joining. Take care, everybody.